On the left is Mr. Brandon Rowboat on bass guitar. And to my right is Nick Mayer on electric guitar. Back here on the Hammond B3 organ, Mr. Don Eames. Holding it down on the drums, Logan Phillips, guys. Can I share just one more story with you before we go? It's been a little over 5 years ago now. My wife took a trip with some women from our church to do some prison ministry on a Sunday afternoon. I'll never forget, I'd stayed home with the kids, and she came home and she was so excited. She was like, "Babe, you've got to go back and check this out. I think it's something that you would love." And I can remember kind of shrugging it off like, I don't think that's for me. At the time, I had kind of put the music thing down a little bit. I was focusing more on my family and just what God wanted me to do with my life. Well, she signed me up 2 weeks later, and I took a trip with some people from our church. And I took a guitar and a handful of songs that I'd written. And me and my wife, we shared our testimony. And we saw God move in a way that we had never experienced and certainly had never been a part of that day. And it's completely changed my life. And I feel like God just kind of thumped me in the head. He said, "If you need an aha moment, here it is. This is exactly what I want you to do. This is what I want you to write. This is who I want you to reach." And so a few years later, I was working at a church in Arkansas. And I got the opportunity to drive to Nashville to write some music. And I went and I stayed all week long one week and I wrote a bunch of songs. And on a Friday, I got ready to come home. And I can remember just being worn out, ready to drive home and see my family. But I had an afternoon co-write with a couple of people that I barely knew. I felt like I didn't have anything left to give. I remember walking into the room and just sharing my story with them. And I shared what God had been doing in prison ministry that me and my wife were involved in. And the title for this song was just kind of tossed out in the room. And I was like, oh wow. What an amazing thing to say about our God. When we wrote this song and I drove back to Arkansas, and I just had this prayer every time I would drive back and forth that God would take this one song all over the world. Find the lost, the broken, the hopeless, the people that needed to know who He was and that had never heard of Him. It's been a couple of years now and I've had the opportunity to travel all over the place and play this song. I just want to thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. It's an honor and a privilege to step on the stage every night and share our stories with you guys. If you guys know this song, y'all want to help us sing one? If you've been walking the same old road for miles and miles, if you've been hearing the same old voice, down the same old life, months ago, we had the opportunity to go into a prison in Nashville, Tennessee, and record a live acoustic record. Something that I've wanted to do for the last few years now. And what we experienced that day is, it's really hard to explain. But I'll just tell you, when you walk into a room where there's men and women who have absolutely no hope, but they choose to find hope in Jesus Christ. They find freedom behind bars that they've never found anywhere else. Better than any drug, better than any alcohol. And so we're going to play you guys a song. It's one of these songs that every time I've ever played it, and God's presence is just in the room. And that's exactly what happened that day. And we would love to just share a little bit about what that felt and looked like. 'Cause I'm no